with that being said, I knew who God was, but I didn't know God. Okay? And there's a big difference between knowing who God is and knowing God on a personal level. So after high school, I started bouncing, went to college, was living in the world, and basically ended up making about $3,000 a month when I was y'all's age and going to school. I dropped out of college because they sent me a letter that said, "You're not welcome here," because I had a 0.9 GPA. But I was making $3,000 a month, working 2 jobs. I was able to take care of my friends, go out and party, drink, and I started living that lifestyle. Lived that lifestyle for a long time. I'm very blunt about my history. I was the type of guy when I was in high school, I couldn't find a girlfriend. So when I started working at the bars and the clubs, I started chewing up women like it was nothing. I've been with over 150 women, and it breaks my heart that I did that. All I did was destroy, seek, and hurt people. Later on in my life, God came knocking, and I ignored him again. Called me into ministry. I allowed somebody, one person that I confided into, that I thought was somebody, to look at me like I had 8 heads. Like I was Medusa or something. The look I got was this. Okay? How many of y'all have been hurt by the church so far? Anybody been here hurt by the church? Not yet, that's good. Okay? I was. Alright? So I walked away. I said, fine, I'm going to go back to my ways. I was consumed about money, women, fame. Up until about 8 months ago, I was still lost. Finally, God called me a 3rd time. My grandmother was dying. How many of y'all know the story of Saul? Everybody knows the story of Saul. Saul was traveling because he was killing and persecuting Christians. And God came to him in a vision, blinded him. Okay? The day that my grandmother died, I was leaving my job. I was tired, I was being lazy, and I was going to call my dad and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to go see her today, I'm going to go tomorrow. I drove down I-4, the same corridor of I-4, for 6 years, morning and night, and never saw this cross on the side of I-4 behind a church. That day, just happened to be traffic right there. And when I was having that thought and was grabbing my phone to call my dad and tell him I wasn't going to go, I'll just go in the morning, I turned and saw that cross. Something inside me said it was time for me to go, to see her. So I called him and said, I'm going to be late. Sure enough, I got there, about an hour's worth of time. She was taking her last breaths. I was able to call my family members so they could get there on time. I was in the room when she died. One of the things that stuck out to me when that moment happened is that woman read the Bible every day. She would get up at 5 a.m. and read it for about 45 minutes every day. She would go cover to cover at least 4 times a year throughout the year. She told me when I was 9 years old, you're going to be in ministry one day. I looked at her and I said, I'm bigger than most 12-year-olds because I play football with them because of my size. I'm going to play football. That moment, I went home. I prayed to God and said, I'm yours. You do with me as you wish. I turned away from the world. Right now, at this current time, I'm being mentored by a pastor to be in ministry. I'm in leadership at my church, at City Point Church. This pastor, when I went to him, we had 2 phone calls and we had coffee for an hour and a half. He looked at me and he said, he's a Star Wars nerd, so some of y'all like this. He looked at me and said, you're my new Padawan. He's been mentoring me for 8 months and I've grown so much. I've been able to pour myself into other people. I'm being taught right now discipleship because that's the next thing I'm going to be in charge of. The group that I'm in charge of right now, we set up and tear down because it's a mobile church. We get there at 6 o'clock in the morning, set up the service, and we go to service. Then after service, break it all down, pack it all up, and put it in a trailer. I usually don't leave there till 2 o'clock. The reason why I tell you this story is because of Galatians 1:10. Should I now go and impress the world and people? Or should I live to make my God happy? It's not the exact thing, but that's the meaning of it. I don't live in the world anymore. I know you guys face a lot, because I was there. I was the guy running the clubs, running the security in the clubs, fighting, drinking, doing drugs, chasing the opposite sex, manipulating them. I was that guy. And I'm going to tell you right now, you guys, I wish I could go back and be your age. And the reason why is because if I knew when I was your age what I know now, how many people I could go and share the word with. You don't want to be 33 years old and be the prodigal and thank God, because we have a merciful God, that he would pick a guy like me to go and spread his word. But thank God he put his son on the cross and died for me. And I'm going to serve him. And I don't care what anybody says. Kind of have a joke between me and a couple of friends of mine. I'm going to rock out with my cross out. I don't care. Okay? But you guys have an opportunity. You've got Lance leading you. I grew up with this guy. He knew me. There's been countless times he's been like, you know what, John? Hey, man. What you doing? I'm like, dude, I'm having a blast. You guys are going to be able to impact so many lives. Don't worry about what the world says. So what? Guess what? If they say, well, what's up with this Jesus thing? Talk to them about it. And if they make fun of you, just pray for them. Don't get mad at them. I'd be hurt. I'd be hurt because they don't know the joy of knowing God. I know him. I talk to him every day. You know what I'm about to do? I'm about to sell my house so I can go into ministry. Something I worked really hard for. I'm giving it up so that I can be financially stable, so that there might become a time where I got to go ministry full time and it's completely volunteer. Guys, your age that you are right now, you can impact thousands of lives. Thousands. That's really my story right there. So what are you guys going to do for your story? How are you going to write your story? You're going to write it with God, or you're going to write it with the world?